So that was another thing. And then, of course, as long as they went along and they said, okay, let's test these bones. They test this bone. So the oldest bones that they have found of any human being, I'm not sure of the particular name, but it's a female. And the female is called Lucy or something like that. Maybe a different name.
I'm very familiar with that. Wait, can I also point something out real quick? So Pangea happened at a time where the modern Homo sapiens did not exist. So Pangea happened about 335 million years ago. The modern Homo sapiens originated 300,000 years ago. So I mean that's a long. By the time modern Homo sapiens existed, the continents was already separated.
Okay, so even though the modern Homo sapien didn't exist, we still know there's historical evidence that the human people did exist.
Yeah, like homogeneous.
Yes.
Exactly.
Can I
so like
intersect right there?
Type figures.
Okay, there were things called land bridges. Like during the ice ages, land bridges, they appeared and disappeared with time. So that's how people got to different continents.
Yes.
Right, but it's being presumed that basically everybody originated from one part of land mass instead of saying, hey, there might have been people all over. And I get the whole idea of bridges because that's how the Siberians was able to come into the United States in the first place through the Bering Strait. So I get that concept. So why is it, I get Brownie points, why is it so accepted to say, oh, well, the native that look like the $5 Indians are accepted as, indigenous people. But as soon as, quote unquote, Black people want to, say, well, as far as my lineage, it goes all the way back to Virginia, or goes to Florida, or goes to New York. It's always question or where's the science. And that's where it getting kind of like religion to me, because that's like people telling me we all come from Adam and Eve. So basically we are long distance cousins. Like, ew, I don't want to, equate that with anything. So that's what it's given for me. But hold
on. So I didn't hear anybody say that like everybody that's considered a Native American is mostly Native American. I just feel like that's something that's kind of being thrown in there. And regardless, let's just say most of them are not Native American. That's still acknowledging we know what Native American is. So just because they're not fully Native American, that doesn't mean you're a Native American. There are people here, not that many, but there are people here that are fully Native American. Just because there are white people that consider themselves Native American, even though they're mostly white, and they're officially like on paper, they're Native American, that doesn't mean they're actually Native American. That's like Jesse Jackson being part of the Cherokee tribe. I mean, I'm guessing that he's mixed, but that doesn't mean he's not Black. You know what I mean? So yeah. I just feel like
so do you equate Black with being African? And I'm gonna ask Mr. DJ.
Well, that it just depends on what you mean by that. It has different meanings in different places. So yeah, in the United States, yes. In the United States, yes.
People that descend from the translated slave trade. So the actual definition of Black American is people who descended from the translated slave trade from Western Central Africa.
Well, to answer that question right quick, like I would say, just on my personal experience, I can't speak for everyone, but I consider Blackness to be a direct connection to, as they say, the motherland. What the connection is, it's up to you to find out what your connection is. But for me, I know where it came from. So
can I say something after?
I wanted to respond to one more thing Tiffany said, but whenever y'all done.
Yeah, I just wanted to point this real quick about the term Black. I mean, the term Black is a social construct, so it's not really denoted to like a physical or genetic reality per se, right? Anybody with melanated skin can be considered "quote unquote" Black, depending on who's saying it, right? What we're saying is that we are indigenous to we are descendants of the translated slave trade. We're pointing to something that happened specifically in history. It said we are descendants from that. There's empirical data to verify and to prove that we descend from this a point in history. The largest forced migration in modern human history, right? This is something that's well documented around the world that it happened.
Absolutely, and that's the point that I'm saying. So again, as you said, race is a social construct. It was created by palm-colored folks. Would you put yourself in the bottom? That you created something, or would you put yourself at the top?
Right. Yeah. But can I wanted to respond to something else Tiffany said. I'm sorry. I thought you was done. You paused. My bad.
Again, I know where I'm from, so again, my lineage tells me that, that my folks at one point in time, they were, as y'all call us, descendants of slaves, just based on the region. Now, my ethnicity is by the United States laws, I'm Black. Now, at one time I was Negro, another time I was colored. But right now I'm a Black American just based on the region that I was born in. I wasn't born in Africa, so I'm not an African American. That's just the moniker that the United States decided to put on the census. That's the only way we could identify ourselves. So when you don't have that choice, we couldn't say at the 1960s, we didn't say we were African American because the United States laws didn't allow that.
So are y'all saying that basically, Africans migrated all over the globe? So I read into a video not too long ago of this woman giving an interview from an indigenous Black woman from Australia. And she basically said that her family didn't teach her that they came from Africa, that they was from that land of Australia. So you're going to tell them Australian people that they're not indigenous to that land just because
that's the thing. If you look at the
wait. Didn't I want to respond? I wanted to respond to Tiffany. But okay, so you said something about all people coming from Africa as opposed to like people perhaps coming from different places. Why couldn't people be from different places? So the thing is, all people are from the same family tree. It just branches out and out and out. So yes, all people. I don't
believe that. So that's why.
Okay, so that's the thing. So no. So that's the thing. I'm sorry, Tiffany. No disrespect, but I'm saying it's not about like belief. You know what I mean? It's about genetic evidence. Okay. All right. Okay. But no, can I finish though? Can I finish though?
But I'm saying, but it's kind of like you're contradicting yourself because you
not
said earlier about the science said, or it's proven that a Black American are indigenous to this land, so or are Native American. So what makes how do we know what a Native American is? You said,
okay, so can I? All right. What is it? So, I wish I had like a whiteboard right now. But what I'm saying is, when I say indigenous, okay, you're talking about the Australians. They've been there for what, 30,000, 50,000 years. All that doesn't change the fact that all humans came from Africa. We're not talking about that time period. We're not talking about 30,000 years ago. I'm talking about like recently, like in the past few thousand years.
200 years ago, 300 years ago, 400 years ago.
Okay, but all right. But you said that you don't believe that everybody is related, and the reason why I said it's not about belief. What I'm saying is, if that's the point that we're hinging on, then what needs to happen is we need to stop. We need to go and research, and we need to come to an agreement on whether all humans are related or not, or whether all humans are descended from the same thing. Because if not, no. What I'm saying is, if not, then we're never going to agree on anything past that. Because you're talking about what you believe, and I'm talking about science. That's just it.
But the thing is, I think there's a few people on this panel that agree that science can be disproven. It's not something that should
bang.
100%.
Wait a minute. Even disproving it is science. Disprove it, you got to have science to disprove science.
That's what I'm saying. Science is a process. Science is a process.
But again, like we said earlier, does it mean just because you say something in science, does it make it true? If it's a theory and it comes from a hypothesis. So what did we say a hypothesis is? We said a hypothesis is a question, right? So if it's a question, that means you have curiosity on that particular subject.
But you gotta have some sort of proof to
right. So what I would encourage you to do is go and you can look it up on Wikipedia. You can look it up on any kind of scientific journal, and you will see the support for the reason why they said that, and you can see like what other things that have already been proven that they're basing that on. So you don't just have to say, oh, maybe it's true, maybe it's not true. Well, I choose to believe this.
Who's they? And it doesn't make it true just because that evidence is
what
there.
I'm talking about is peer-reviewed studies. I'm talking about when people do studies, and other people that are also working in that field that are in universities and stuff, they review them to make sure that what they did was logical. Then it gets published in a journal. That's what I'm talking about. It's not about, oh, I feel like this, I feel like that. I'm saying that there are people that are working on this as we speak. They got somebody that just work on like seismic waves. They got somebody that just study plankton in the ocean. They got somebody that just studies a certain kind of linguistics for a certain tribe. So there's no reason for us to be talking about, oh, I believe this, I believe that. Go and learn it. Go and learn.
But
I mean,
even by that statement, that's a
no.
you're talking about, again, science starts off with a hypothesis, which means it comes from curiosity. Even if you get the evidence, that means that you are trying to figure out if it's true or not.
So what's your point?
That
I'm
means,
trying to see what you're saying.
Jesus Christ.
No,
man.
I'm asking.
So
You
off
said
of
it a
the
bunch of times,
theory,
but I don't get your point.
of course you don't get it, because you just keep saying
Go ahead.
science.
Go ahead.
So let me ask a better question. Does that mean science is 100% true?
Science is a process.
Again, that's not what I asked you.
Okay, so
Wait
I
a
mean,
minute,
a
wait a
process
minute,
Is
can't be
science 100% true?
Wait a
Your
minute, bro.
question
Yeah,
does not
wait
make
a
sense.
minute.
That's an
Yeah.
It does
invalid
make
question.
true. It does make
That's an
sense.
invalid question.
Y'all keep
That's an
saying on
invalid
this
question.
panel, no, it's not an invalid question. Y'all
Yes,
keep
it is.
saying, no, it's not. No, it's not.
Okay.
You keep saying on this panel, y'all keep saying on this panel, you can't argue with science. If you just basically said it has to go through an experimentation and all these different things, does science means that it's 100% true? If
Okay,
it's a
so
study,
science does not prove, science disproves.
again, is science? Does that mean science is 100%
So
true?
what has science
No.
disproven?
Science is a process.
She's not
Science
answering
is
the
a process.
question. Somebody
I
just
don't know
answered
what's
it for
wrong with
you.
this. You don't realize why your question
If it's
doesn't make sense.
No,
I'm not
no.
sidestepping your question. So are you
You
saying
are.
that science sometimes proves that past beliefs were incorrect? Yes, science
Right.
does that.
Did you not say that science has the scientific method or science has to be disproven? So
Right,
does
can I
that
ask
mean
this
that it's
question? Can I ask
already
this
true or
question?
not
No,
true?
I didn't say it's proven. I said it's
has to be
highly
disproven.
supported. It's highly supported. Yes.
I said it
until
has
it's
to be
disproven. Until it's disproven.
So does that mean it's true?
Yes.
Can I answer that? Can I answer
Until
that?
it's disproven or
Generally agreed
updated.
to be
Yeah.
true.
Can I
But the
answer
thing
that?
is, no,
It's
let me say one
believed
more
to be
thing.
true,
Let
which
me
means
say
that
one
it
more
doesn't mean it's
thing. Let me
100%
say one
true.
more thing. Please let me say one more thing. So this is the thing. It is believed to be true because of the support. But here's the thing. If evidence comes up that disproves it, you can double check it, but you have to take that into account and you have to throw it out. You can't say, well, I
You
see that
just
it's been
contradicted
disproven.
yourself.
Oh, no.
No,
Come on,
no,
man.
sir.
Come on, man. What
No,
I'm
sir.
saying is
No,
that
sir.
science is a
May
process.
I
You're not supposed to
may I come in?
favor one outcome over the other. So if you've been believing
Right.
something all this time and you find scientific evidence that that's not true, as a rational person, you would throw it out and say, okay, well, now I know that that's not true. But people have a problem with that. Like it's a mental block. That's all I'm saying. So science is a
So
process.
Okay,
so it's
sir.
a process, right? So if you can't argue with science, that means you can't argue with what?
Let me do this
No, you can
scientific
you can
fact.
argue with science.
Let me
Though.
give you a
Science is not
scientific
How?
fact.
If it's a
science is not
study.
about
Something
science is
that we
not
all
about
know to be
delivering absolute
scientific.
truth. It's about
Where
creating
does
like
a
the best
diamond,
plausible
sir?
explanation
Sir,
based on
She just
reality
said
and
believed to be
evidence.
true.
wait.
Based on evidence.
Where does
Based
a
on
diamond
evidence.
come
Hold on.
from?
Does the
Hold on,
evidence mean
y'all.
it's true?
Hold on.
Yes,
Listen,
I mean,
y'all
it-
Y'all
want
can't
science.
talk over each other because we won't hear. You cannot
Okay,
talk over each other.
right,
Before you
right.
go, before anybody else goes, let's cool it down for a second. Think about what you want to say. I want to thank Taz the GOAT for joining the panel. He's the last person I didn't get a chance to say thank you for joining. All right. And then I think I couldn't tell who was trying to go first, Ja or Mr. DJ Music. Who wants to go
Yeah,
first?
yeah. Let me just ask you, my man. Here's science for you. Where does a diamond come from? What does it start off as?
A rock, doesn't it?
A lump of coal.
Oh,
Okay.
carbon, yeah.
Where does oil come from?
Tell me.
I think it comes from deterioration of different things that turns into what we call fossil fuel.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're
Okay, so
organisms.
is that scientific fact?
Is it a scientific
Yes,
fact,
it's
or
a
did it start from a
scientific fact. Yes,
scientific?
there's no obfuscating. It's simply yes or no. Is
So
it
this
scientific fact? Is it scientific fact? Let me take the fact scientific out of it. Is it fact that a diamond starts off as a lump of coal?
I mean, I don't think that's
Simple yes or
fact.
no.
That's just a fact.
I'm not
Right.
understanding. I'm not understanding because when I sat there and say, does that mean that science is 100%
No,
true?
so
I just
what
got a
I'm-
different
what
answer. Though.
I'm trying to tell you is, and what the young lady trying to tell you is, until somebody shows us different, that a lump of coal starts off as diamond, it is scientific fact.
But how if it comes from the hypothesis and
No,
a hypothesis
sir,
is an
it's
educated
fact.
guess?
Wait a
Because
minute.
they
Can
tested it
I
in many
say
different
something?
ways. It's been
Can I
tested
just
and corroborated
say
using different
something?
methods.
I'm about to
in order
boogie.
to be proven
I want to
true.
let
So-
DJ Music get in. I'm sorry.
Okay,
Which
go ahead.
Too many DJs right now. DJ Witch Doctor.
Listen,
Go ahead.
Wait a
Jump
minute.
in.
Wait a minute.
Listen,
Look.
sir,
Wait a minute, bro. Wait a minute.
listen.
DJ Witch Doctor, I got you. I got you right after, right? bro, an educated guess is like they say. You know how to drive a car. If you go in an SUV, you're gonna make an educated guess that you might gotta drive it the same way. You know what I'm saying? You see, you one somebody put a sequence 1, 2, 3, asks you to guess the other one, you're gonna guess 4. You know what I'm saying? That is another type of educated guess. It's not just a random guess. It's based on something. It's based on some research or something until somebody could bring some research to disprove the shit. The reason why it should be sounding crazy because a lot of stuff that's disproven or not even being attempted to be proven, a lot of people be loud about this shit. And that should make it sound crazy. Science, they can be loud about this shit because it got something to back it. It's some sort of research or some sort of tangible shit. You know what I mean?
So is science 100% true?
No, it's not 100% true. Like, what are you
Bingo.
talking
That's
about?
not a valid question. Still
It
not
is.
a valid question.
It is
But it
very
doesn't
valid.
make
No,
its
because
point.
science is a process.
Until
It's a
look up-
process, right?
I
So
can't-
can
all
you
right, so
technically
do
say
you-
a scientific?
on your own time, or do we want to look up science right now?
I already gave you the
Wait a
definition.
minute. Wait a minute. Science is not 100% true, but it's more. It got more percentage than just guessing and guesstimation
So
and
who said
just
we're guessing though?
tinfoil
Okay, so
shit.
that's why I think the disconnect is. So if I say my great grandma said, "Hey, Arlenians come from woody woody woo," so should I trust science over
Oh man,
my aunt?
See?
I mean, so we're not
Wait
going
a-
to
wait
trust
a minute.
our ancestors.
could-
We're going to trust science. We're going to
You
trust
could
what
trust both of
the
them.
lab is
that's
doing.
why.
You could
But
trust both
see,
of
that's
them.
why you shouldn't have answered that question because that question didn't make sense.
No,
There's
but
no
we
such
gotta
thing
be
as science
honest.
being
But
true
wait a
or not
minute.
true.
But
Science is
if
a
we try,
process.
that's
It is a
disingenuous.
process,
If we
but
trying to
it's
be
not a
true,
process.
wait
You
a
sitting down with your family talking about family history,
Yeah,
going
so-
through
Come
the
on,
process.
sister.
So that's not a
Oh,
process.
okay.
but
If you can
Y'all gotta
scientifically
let-
disprove that, then that means your family is
y'all
mistaken.
selectively choosing when to
How
deal
is
with
it
science and when to
selective?
just go by your family word. You know what I'm saying? We
I
all
mean, I
know
don't
our
think you guys are
families and we all
selective.
know that they got limited information. You know what I'm saying? The science existed before them. Sure, you're not gonna just not mess with your family, you know what I mean, but still you got to trust science too, because a lot of time if you got to get surgery or something, you're gonna go to you're gonna trust science. You know what I'm saying? You trust science for other shit. You can't just
Right.
throw away science and be like, oh, I'm gonna only trust in my family. You can't.
I never
That's
got only
that's
trust in
Can I
selectively
say
choosing
this too?
science.
Can I
People
say
would
this
throw
too? I
that
think
out
oral
and say
tradition.
we trust science versus what you're telling me that your family has passed.
Yeah.
So,
Can I point something out as well?
Right.
So oral tradition is not automatically accepted as factual in the same way as physical and documented evidence is, right? So, but it's still oral tradition is still a valuable historical source, but it's not that you need more than just oral tradition, oral. You know, my grandmother told me this, and my grandfather told me that. You need more than just that to substantiate your evidence. But it's also included as a historical source, so you can use oral tradition for a historical source.
Yes, but it would have to be corroborated, just like scientific evidence would have to
Right.
be corroborated. Physical
Right.
evidence, same
Right.
thing. You can't just
Well-
say something, and be like, well, just because that's what they
Exactly.
said, then nothing else
Mhm.
matters. No,
Word
Okay,
of
but
mouth.
when I brought up historical records, is that not proven that?
no.
Okay,
What's the corroboration?
Never mind then.
So you would need corroborating evidence.
images,
I'm just saying, if they're correct, then
Okay.
your
Okay, so-
DNA test would agree with that.
So let's go off of that. So when you talk about science, right, and you talk about you being from Africa and all this other stuff, where did you get that information from?
My education. Education.
Education and what?
Somebody in school?
Yeah, school and what I
So, like, you
look
didn't
up,
do
what I
Prove that
research,
you're
and
African.
also what I
Education?
research outside of school because I'm a lifelong learner.
Oh, to prove that you're an African.
I mean, what do you mean prove? It's
Just in
not
life.
about
Just
proving
in
that I'm
life in
African.
general.
It's just I understand that how how genetics works, and they already figured out like where the different groups of people broke apart, how closely related we are to each other. So
Wait. So
Huh?
you got this all from education, right? So you didn't have just DNA. That's how you knew you were as an African, correct?
I mean, DNA confirmed what I already knew based on my education. That makes sense. You know, I mean, it didn't come back and say I'm European. I mean, What do you think they're doing up in those labs? What do you think they're doing over there?
And how else would you get the education? It's not going to come to you, sir. It's
And
not
that's
gonna,
the thing, but
it's
they
not
think
gonna come to
somebody
you.
saying something make it true.
Hey,
I mean,
just-
no
and
offense,
as much,
but
listen, as much as
they
you
think
want,
if they
No,
feel something,
no.
they think if they spirit
That's
tell them
not-
something that
that's
is
not what I
true.
said.
We can say the same thing about y'all.
No,
No,
no, no, no,
all
sir,
right.
no,
We can
no, sir.
say your spirit makes you feel like you African, so you African.
Okay,
There's no, I
but
don't.
sir, but
Okay,
sir,
all right.
will
No,
you
I don't
take
operate
that?
like that. I don't operate
That's
like
a
that.
conclusive point. That's what I'm saying.
Hold on,
Listen.
slow down. I want
Wanna
Mr. DJ Music to go ahead and jump in. He's been trying to get in here.
Okay, sir. So in order for what you're saying to be true, that you would have to say that I'm wrong. In order for you to, right? No, okay. So I'm not trying to discredit you for the fact that you say that you are not African. But what I am trying to tell you is that you cannot give me a credible argument to where the entire human race, regardless of you call yourself Indian, whether you call yourself American, Irish, or whatever, the entire human race started at some place. There has to be a starting point. The
When did I
entire
say I
human
didn't
race
agree with that?
Okay,
When did I say that?
Okay, so wait a minute. But your argument is that your parents told you something. So your parents are trying to tell you that there's two starting places where I told you it started from as your grandmama, and where everybody else tell you the whole entire human race started from someplace in sub-Saharan Africa. But your grandparents or your family member or somebody told you that that's not where you came from. I can understand your ethnicity if you want to say that nobody you know or nobody that's connected to you was born in the continent of Africa, or you don't have a direct connection to it. That's one thing. But to say you as a human have no ancestry to Africa at all is for me to tell a Caucasian person, any person, that you are wrong on that.
I'm lost.
I still would say,
But-
sir who just spoke, I still would specify that we're dealing with two different scales of time. So yes, all humans did come from Africa a long time ago, but some stayed in Africa. So specifically, we come from the people that stayed in Africa longer.
Again, there is a definite delineance, but that's not what we're trying to talk about here. Someone is telling me that there's no way I could have came from Africa. Okay. Your family didn't come from Africa. Your family is indigenous to this because there's some Africans that were here before slavery. Give you that.
But how do you know they was African before that, though?
I said there were some Africans. Did you not hear me just say that?
I know that. And what I'm saying is, how did you know they were African before those Africans came over here?
Just based on the fact of common sense that tells me if I put a boat on a big ass ocean somewhere and I let it drift, it's called driftwood.
Right.
Even without a sail, I would end up somewhere.
So common sense told you that just randomly, because those were people that they're Africans before the other Africans came here, they're just African.
No.
Were the Vikings Africans? Was the Arawaks Africans?
Bro, not just randomly, bro. There's also African, people from several African empires and kingdoms that have records of them, or they have old traditions of them even making a trip to an expedition to the Americas prior to even Christopher Columbus. For example, you have the Malian Empire, for example, right? I don't know if you ever heard of Mansa Musa. You ever heard of Mansa Musa?
Yes,
so he was the richest man that ever lived, at that time period. But he had a brother named Mansa Abu Bakr II, who did an expedition to the Americas and brought 200 ships, and they've made a voyage to the west, and they'd never returned back. So, I mean, you have certain empires, like I mentioned, the Malian Empire, that have this record of them making this expedition to the Americas as well. So, I mean, it could be feasible that there were African people that were here in the Americas.
Yes, there could be. You could be that small percentage of African folks that decided to stay here. But those
but they would still be African.
Right, you would still be African.
Yo, that's a fact though. When he said that Mansa Musa and that Abu Bakr is a true thing, bro. That's a real story.
And again, that just
that's how Mansa Musa got into power. Because we only hear about Mansa Musa.
Right.
That's how Mansa Musa even got into power.
It's always
Mansa Musa also he did a pilgrimage to the Mecca,
pilgrimage,
right?
And broke the economy. Yeah, facts.
It broke the economy in Egypt, right? But he did this pilgrimage to Mecca, and he even bragged about this accomplishment that his people achieved by going to the Americas. So there's other sources, even outside of African sources, like you have Arabic sources that that validate this claim that he made this this accusation when he did the pilgrimage there in Mecca.
I'm gonna just be real with y'all, man. Like for real, some of us moving on from that Mansa Musa bullshit, fam.
Thank
You
you.
keep that shit. Bro.
No, I mean
we
it's just
got,
a
like,
fact of history. You don't. It's not a. You don't
In
gotta
which way, Taz?
associate
Hold on.
yourself
Let
with it.
Taz
You don't have
land.
to
Let Taz
resonate.
land. Hold on. Let
You don't
Taz
have to
land.
resonate with it, but it's
Hold
just
on.
a
Hold
fact of
on. In which
history.
way, Taz?
Yeah,
In which way?
I'm purposely saying it in the way for it to hurt your feelings, though. I want it to hurt
Nah,
your feelings,
Nah,
bro.
it
say it
ain't.
the way you want
Like
to.
we're tired.
Nah,
Damn.
Taz,
Man,
We're
what's wrong with
tired.
what's
please
wrong with
tell us.
Like
Mansa Musa?
at some
Nothing.
point,
The
we're
richest black man ever
tired
lived. I
of
guess
that.
we
It's
don't
not
have
nothing
something.
wrong with it.
I guess that's
It's
something to
not to
look down upon.
discount any. Fam, I could have cut any one of you hoe ass niggas off, and I didn't. So please don't keep cutting me off, please.
He's mad
So
bullshit.
I'm saying when it comes to this Mansa Musa conversation, what's being neglected is the hundreds upon hundreds of Black Americans who lived maybe in the past 50 years that nobody never talks about. So while that might be some point of emphasis that you can go back to an irrelevant time period, some of us can acknowledge that, yes, fam, we've heard that 1,000 times, but now we're ready to add on something a little bit more to it. So it's not to discount you, it's not to diminish Africa. It ain't about none of that. It's about learning more and taking more of our history right here in America where we live at. We ain't leaving. So it would benefit us more to learn some of the shit we should have learned in elementary, middle, and high school. So it's not to even shit on Mansa Musa, but it's like, damn, bro, at some point, don't you realize we got history that's being overlooked, discounted, don't nobody want to talk about? And it's a lot of it.
Thank you.
I agree with what he's saying.
And that's all.
But I
That's
think
all
the
we
Mansa
saying.
Musa talk was relevant to what they was talking about because they was talking
I don't
about
think one negates the
coming
other
to
as
the
well.
new world and
Right,
shit
yeah.
like that.
Yeah, that's
One
in
doesn't,
that aspect.
one doesn't
In that
negate the other
aspect.
as well. We can still say that we have African ancestry, but also be proud to be American. I mean,
Yeah.
that's
Right. Again, like I
Yeah,
said,
we
folks,
can.
knowledge is not going to come to you. You got to go get it.
But we're
That's crazy.
trying.
You got to go get it, folks. I mean, some of us, I guarantee you, there's a few folks here tonight. This is the first time they ever heard that name, Mansa Musa. You don't have to tell me.
Yeah, but no, the first time they probably heard Abu Bakr for a fact.
Me specifically, when I said that I have African ancestry, right? This is me showing you that my history doesn't begin with just slavery alone.
No, but no one said that.
No one
Right?
said
No
that.
one said that. No one said that. Our history exceeds slavery. It does. And that's the point that we're trying to tell you. Instead of trying to say, well, no, we didn't come from Africa. Every place has a start point, fellas, ladies.
Yeah, I just find it funny. I just find it funny
What's
because
funny about
when we started the conversation,
would you be happy if I said we came from the continent of Europe? Would that satisfy your curiosity of where you came from?
No, I'm not. No,
So bad to
that's
be,
not
right, but it's so bad, sir. It's so bad to say
we have more ancestry in Europe than we do with Native Americans.
Can
I ain't
can
never
I
been
say
to Africa.
something?
I ain't going to Africa. Like I don't get what y'all saying.
I find it funny.
Share my screen, Candy.
Oh, okay, my fault.
No,
But
talk. Y'all talk. I'm just telling.
I was gonna say real quick. I find it funny that when I had sat there and brought up the reality of the possibility that we might just have been in America or there's history in America to talk about it, is this whole entire talk about self-hatred and you're not proud to be an African and all this other stuff. But then when Taz just said what he said, now all of a sudden it's like deer caught in headlights.
Can I respond? Can I respond? Can I respond?
No, I'm agreeing with you. I'm agreeing with you, Taz.
I think what you said. I didn't say what you said, brother.
Yeah, I was about to say that's two different things because you're trying to say he didn't say that we didn't come from Africa. He said that he wants to put if I can speak and say, for what you said, that you want to put more of an emphasis on what has happened since then. So I don't think that I don't think that your point and his point was the same point. But I want to say this. As far as like if anybody has a belief that Black Americans are native to the U.S. or the Americas, the thing is, if you say something, let's just say you make a statement, if I should be able to check it this way, check it that way, check it this way, check it that way, and it's supposed to agree. If you saying something that don't match up with nothing else, it don't match up genetically, it don't match up, as far as like records, it don't match up as linguistically, it don't match up as far as like culture, then you just on an island by yourself. You can't just put something out there and be like, oh yeah, that's true, when everything around it is saying that it's not true. It has to fit the bigger picture. So
but you did that.
What I do?
Did that.
But what I'm saying is you trying to make
you only call yourself an African because of school education. You have no historical records to prove you're personally an African. Okay,
so what I said is that I'm descended from people that came from Africa that were enslaved. That's what I said. So yes, I am majority African. So I mean, I don't get like what you're not understanding about that. So yeah, I didn't say anything that was untrue. But what I'm saying is, if you, like I said, if you say that you're indigenous American or Black people can be indigenous American, you should be able to find resources to prove that in multiple ways. Every aspect of that should be able to be corroborated. There shouldn't be nothing disproving it.
You should be able to show something right now.
Right now.
I say, I don't like for real, like for real. I just pressing like, dude, where's the proof that you're an Indian? Right. You're lying. You lived your whole life as a Black man. Now all of a sudden you
call myself an Indian.
You catch you an Indian.
Never called myself an Indian.
But you came up here saying that you did not come from Africa.
All I ever said was we don't all come from Africa. We come from four corners of the earth. You can go on a replay, and I said that. I said the four corners of the earth.
That don't even make sense. Let me tell you.
It does make sense.
That don't
you
make
didn't have any African in you at all. You specifically said that. Do we need to back it up? You specifically said that you did not have any African in you at all. You're not going to convince me otherwise. Why? Because my family told me so. That came from your mouth.
In historical records. That's what I said.
Okay, so go grab one of them historical records. Since you're only paying attention to what Taz said, go grab one of those historical records and shut us
Just
up.
one.
All right.
Please.
Can I want to say something. Okay, so you said Black people come from the four corners of the earth. I'm trying to figure out what that means, because you only can come from the people that are before you. So if somebody else popped up on another corner of the earth, that means that's not your people. So I'm not sure what you mean by that. Are you referring to like other dark-skinned people, like in other parts of the world? Because the way it is we come from our parents. So we actually all come from one cell, and it's called Luca, and we all branched off from there. So there's no such thing as like one group of people coming from four corners of the earth. It doesn't work like that. It starts in one place and then it spreads out. So I'm not sure what you mean by we come from the four corners of the earth.
Okay. I want to get this off the screen though. But this right here, what I'm showing you on the screens is the Canary Currents. All right. So even when I was researching about the Abu Bakr and all that, because years ago I was researching it and all of that, and it led me down this road of how the Canary Currents, it just shows you, because Mali's right here, like on the bottom right there. Right. And just to sail off the western coast of Africa, it shows you that it'll push you right to the Caribbean. It's going to push you to southern North America, to the south, to Florida and all that. It shows you, you know what I mean?
I said that,
just naturally, scientifically, it just shows you it's in your favor, in our favor, to be able to sail from there to there and all of that. So, you know what I mean? Just as a thought, you know what I mean?
Thank you.
Whether
Thank you
for
very
anybody
much. Thank you for solidifying my point by putting it on paper. That's exactly what I was saying. Yeah. What would make you think us as Africans that had all these riches and golds, that we found sailboats, we found all kind of means of transportation that we could not get in this current right here and end up somewhere in North America if the boat was seaworthy enough?
Yeah.
What makes you think that? Just on wind power alone, sir.
Yeah, that's a white supremacy misconception to say that black people did not circumnavigate the earth.
Right. Although the things like the sextant and all the way you follow the stars and follow the North Star and all that came from the minds of who?
The Dogon people.
Outside of a person,
African people.
What is this shit that y'all arguing about, though, fam? Like, what does this how does this benefit us in the long run?
I like
can I respond to that? Can I respond to that? I feel that if we are still denying a part of ourselves, then like we don't fully accept ourselves. So how are we going to move forward? Like if we're trying to hide or discount a certain part of ourselves, we need to be proud of every part of ourselves. I think that's my opinion. Because I don't think a person can say that they love and accept themselves and honor their ancestors if they're saying that they're not descended from Africans. And I think, and one more thing. I think it also it fits in with a larger pattern of just self-hatred that Black people have.
So, I honestly think what has happened with these DNA tests and shit like that is people kind of forcing a conversation that was never forced. I mean, there's always been Africans around. People never really had a problem with their African ancestry. But for some reason now, there's an issue with people saying, I'm not going to Africa. I don't really care about anything happening in Africa. Just don't mistreat the people over there. I don't want to see nothing bad happen to them, right? But I'm not going to Africa, and I'm not African. Yeah, I got some ancestry. Okay, we can talk about all the history you want to talk about, but me, I ain't going to Africa. I don't practice no African customs. I don't care with no African people. Why pretend like I'm any closer to the continent than what I am? I'm not.
Yeah, and I agree with you on that actually, and I think it's everyone's prerogative, what they want to do, right? People don't. I mean, I think the issue of the conversation is that some people are saying that they have zero African ancestry, not that. Oh, we're not
Right.
American. It's the
That's
fact that you're saying we have
Right.
zero African
That's right.
ancestry. That's the
Right.
issue of the conversation.
That's the
You don't have to
conversation.
go back to Africa. You don't got to
Right.
identify. You don't got to resonate with Africans at all. Nobody.
Are they taking the
that's your
DNA
prerogative.
test to say that?
No,
Yes,
he
I
just
have.
came up
I
and said
have.
his right, but his family said that.
I
And
think
again,
the
with
DNA
me,
test is lies.
there's my heritage is
I'm gonna take it.
Gullah Geechee, so I know where my
Mine
family
too.
came from. There's no way around that. So my
No,
point to him was, say
I'm
again.
just asking though, bro, because if a person is saying they don't have no African in them and ain't showing you a DNA test to confirm it, what are we talking about?
Yeah, but that didn't happen.
that's-
That
that's-
didn't
yeah,
happen.
He doesn't
I'm
want to take the
still
DNA
waiting
test,
for
though,
a
bro.
black person to show me
Right.
that they have zero African
Right,
ancestry. That
that's
doesn't
all
make
he
sense.
said. Based
That's
on, he
why I
said
gotta
based
have
on what his
conversation,
parents
though.
told him.
Bro, there's no
Nothing-
peer-reviewed geneticist.
that.
There's no peer-reviewed
Right.
historian that says that Black Americans come from the Native Americans. There's no proof of that at all.
It's a
No, it just
nonsensical.
shows that
It's a
they
nonsensical
cohabitated.
belief because if you came
Right.
from Native Americans, you wouldn't be black. You would be Native American. Like
Why
Exactly.
would
I don't
we
get
come
it.
from Native
Right,
Americans?
right.
Understand.
Again, it just
That
said
is
they
not true.
cohabitated. That's all. They didn't say that black folks evolved from Native Americans. That's just the myth
That's
that was
weird,
pushed
bro.
on us in school.
That
But
shit was a
it-
myth too. All that Indian shit, that's just a myth, bro.
Well,
That shit is a
Okay,
myth, bro.
but before
Yeah,
anybody
I-
else
I-
continues, I'm gonna
I
pause y'all.
admit.
I did get a Cash App donation, and I want to say thank you for that. I'm gonna play the money
Salute.
song real quick, and then we can get right back to it.
It's my money and I need it now. This when I have my money. My money and I need it now. Pay me what you want. It's my money and I need it now. This when I have my money. It's my money and I need it now. Pay me what you want. Like rap, rap, rap.
Okay, thank you so much for your patience. All right, I do have a question. And go. I don't think you were here when I initially asked the question. I'm going to start with prefacing by saying it's very hard for me to see how Blacks in America today can be Pan-Africanism or can follow Pan-Africanism when we can't even get on one accord as Blacks in America. So to even try and extend out to other people who are Black from other countries and have camaraderie with them, how can we do that when we can't even do the whole camaraderie within our own group here? First of all, I just want to say that.
Well, I
Secondly,
would say
before you go, I do want to ask the question: are Blacks in America ashamed of their African heritage?
Yes.
And when I'm asking that, I'm not necessarily asking the people who consider themselves to be FBA. I'm coming from the point of the people who acknowledge that they do have African ancestry. Like someone like myself
Yeah,
who
no.
says that, yeah,
yeah.
you said no.
Yeah, I'm saying no, ain't nothing to be ashamed of. It just ain't, you know what I'm saying? It just ain't nothing it ain't like, for example, like I said like this. So I feel like people have glorified the shit, presented it in a way in which I'm supposed to be super happy and proud that I'm African, as if I'm not supposed to acknowledge that I'm a fucking American. So at some point, it's like, great, you're proud of your ancestry and your history, but I'm proud of who I am right now and who my son's going to be and who my daughter's going to be right here in America. And if they decide to go to Africa or something like that, that's great, that's wonderful. But where is the shame in saying I don't know none of that? There's no other connection other than ancestry.
Mm. Well, again, for me, it's a two-part answer. Yes, some people are embarrassed of the fact that of their connection to slavery because of for American blacks, it's a stigmatism. If you say you came from Africa, that automatically put you in the realm of slavery. So on the other part of it is, I think that some people relish the idea of knowing that they came from that part of the world, although they haven't visited, and they'll have no plans on visiting it. Like me, I have no plans ever of going to Africa. But also, I'm not going to abandon the fact that it's somewhere along the line, somebody like me came from that part of the world.
Most of them did.
Right.
Most of them did. But I think it's more of an acknowledgement thing. You know, I can acknowledge that that's where most of my DNA came from. That doesn't mean I have to, like, you know, do whatever practices they do, because we do have our own culture as Americans. But I'm not going to say that I'm not African. Meanwhile, I'm 90% African. That doesn't make sense.
To be honest with you, right? And I'm not even American, right? I'm from Georgetown, Guyana, right? But even me subconsciously, without even noticing the shit, I used to be like, not like ashamed, but felt like a certain way. Like if somebody asked me where I'm from and I say I'm from Guyana and they say, oh, Ghana, like I would correct them in a way like I feel like they try to, you know what I'm saying, call me like an African. But it's because of what I think of, it's because of what I think of when I think of Africa. Is like what is being seen on TV and kids with flies and shit. So I think a lot of people aggressively try to shun that shit. You know what I mean? And ain't nothing that you gotta shun, but it's not like you gotta move to Africa or some shit. You know what I mean? It shouldn't take away from you being an American, because it don't take away from me being from Guyana.
Though, bro. Like, so I don't know how old y'all is and whatnot, but I went to school in the 80s, early 90s. And what I would say is the reason why we're called African American today is because of the push to incorporate Africa into our everyday lives as Black Americans. Yeah, what you're saying isn't untrue. It's not unfounded. But the fact of the matter is, it's been given and pressed upon